Welcome to Inside Raceland Football, live on Kool TV. Over the next hour, James Collier will visit with Raceland Rams head coach Mike Salmons and players to discuss the 2025 Rams season in their quest toward another return trip to Kroger Field. Now, here's your host of Inside Raceland Football, the voice of the Rams, James Collier.
And welcome into Inside Raceland Football. I'm your host, James Collier, along with head coach Mike Salmons. It's bye week for the Rams. A nice win last week over Newport Central Catholic. We'll break that one down here in just a few minutes. We've got three seniors that we're going to talk with tonight. We've got Chris Spradlin, Alex Harr, and Ian Vance in the house. We'll have them in segment number 2. And then our last segment, we're going to go on a tour of this beautiful facility. We've also got the brand new weight room that we're going to take a look at this evening. That's all what's coming up this evening here on Inside Raceland Football. Coach, nice win Friday night, and again, a good opponent and a common opponent. You guys used to play a long time ago, and then it kind of brought itself back together. But NCC, 14-14 ball game, and you guys really found your footing and took care of things after that.
Yeah, you know, one of 6 Class A teams on our schedule. Of course, 3 of those are our district opponents. But Newport Central Catholic is a very tradition-rich program. I don't exactly know the number of state championships. I think we looked that up last week. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 state championships, and we looked up Coach Snyder was top 5, I believe, in all-time wins in KHSAA history. So, again, a traditional-rich program. Going back, you know, decades ago, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, you know, everybody in Raceland knew about Newport Catholic because at that time there was 4 classes, and we were always cross-district with those guys, whether it be Beechwood or Newport Central Catholic or Bellevue or whatever. And so there's a long-standing history going back there. We played against Newport Central Catholic in the first round of the playoffs 2 years when I was in school in the late 90s, and, you know, played off and on throughout. In this last 3 years, of course, next year will be year 4 of a contract. I think a contract that we would like to keep going. It gets our program in Northern Kentucky, number 1, and number 2, a possible playoff opponent. In Class A now, they're in the West. Of course, we're in the East.
Yeah.
They're kind of right on that dividing Mendoza line, if you will. So, but yeah, Coach Licker's been there for a while, does a good job. You know, he's been a head coach over 20-plus years now. Didn't really know that until was studying a little bit last week, and he's been at several different places. And they had a good game plan, really tested us. They had some nice athletes, and overall it was a good challenge for us, and point out some things we need to work on as we move throughout this thing. And it was good to be home, you know, for our JFL night and able to, you know, come out on the right side of the scoreboard.
You know, the good thing for NCC next year, they hope to have their brand new field open up. They've been building on the field. They've kind of had to play some at Newport, some at Cub Cath. That's where we played when we went up there last year.
Yeah.
But very hospitable group as well when we went up there last year. You know, playing in the middle of a hurricane, and they're like, hey, we'll make everything work.
Yeah, so I think it's actually going to be called like Coach Snyder Field or Coach Bob Snyder Field or something to that effect. His son, I think his name is Dave, is currently on their staff. He was here last Friday night. And so I think they're really excited, hoping a new field will kind of rejuvenate them and give them something that they haven't had. But yeah, just a really hard-nosed, blue-collar group that, you know, they have a lot of pride and expectations in Class A, just like we do. Kind of in the West, the last couple of years, they've kind of got hemmed up on that regional semifinal, regional week, kind of the regional final week, and I think they were in the semifinals one time in the past few years with that Campbellsville KCD kind of thing there. And actually last year they had Campbellsville beat and just kind of had a misfortune at the end of the game and ended up getting beat. So they're definitely right there knocking on the door, if you will, and I would expect them to continue to. They've had some injuries, and you saw them last week get a little bit more healthy. They got some guys back, still got some guys out. You know, we fully expect them to do some damage, make some run, and, you know, like Coach Lickard said, you know, we're going to be on the road. We know that because of the RPI system in the West, talking about, you know, the third week of the playoffs. But if they're healthy, I think they can really make some people uncomfortable.
Let's look at the stats from last week's game. You guys racked it up offensively. Another week that you go over 500, 533 total, 360 on the ground. Landon Stiltner, 5 touchdowns. For all the numbers that I've been able to find, that ties the Raceland record for most touchdowns by a running back in a game. There was one that it went back all the way to 1991. It was J.B. Miller was, I believe, was the name of the guy from, I guess, Bardstown. Yeah. But I mean, there was people having to come out of the woodworks to give me the info because we don't have the records that go back that far. Yeah. But it was a special night for Landon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, looking at the stats, we were obviously very dynamic on offense. We scored on our first possession, had a short field on our second possession, ended up getting a penalty and having to punt. And then from there, you know, the rest of the game, we essentially scored every series on out, a minus at the end when we were subbing. So, I felt like offensively we were really dynamic. Jake was, he was, I think, 14 of 18 again or something in that area. A couple of touchdowns. We didn't turn the ball over, having really great ball security, taking care of the ball. Jake's making great decisions with the ball. And then our philosophy is, keep pounding. I think over time, our depth really worked our advantage. And that's kind of how we're built. We've kind of built our program that way over the past decade or so. And as the game went on, I think that was kind of indicative. Maybe a 3-yard gain in the first quarter becomes a 7-yard gain in the third quarter. And then maybe in the fourth quarter, somebody hits a home run. Or maybe late in the third quarter, somebody hits a home run. And, Landon, speaking about Landon, just a really explosive athlete who's really kind of gained a new level of confidence. No, I don't think, that he lacked confidence as a player, but it was confidence in his body. He just couldn't stay healthy. He's got to the point now where he's been able to take care of his body, figured out some things that work for him to stay healthy, and then obviously, you see the outcome of that. You see the byproduct of that, and I think it goes missed that he's also helping the team defensively. He's rushing the passer and doing some things on defense too, and playing in some space, and really been a big valuable part of who we are. And we kind of obviously rotate, mix our pitches back there at running back. Last week he had the hot hand.
210 yards total rushing for the record book that I've got right now. That ties him for third most all-time in the records. But you can't talk about what he does without talking about those guys up front. The offensive line was they played out last week.
Yeah, I think I sent you a list today. We got about 8 guys, 8 parts that play tackle, guard, a couple centers in there, and a couple guard centers, and a couple tackle guards, and just trying to mix and match and get the right pieces. Still don't feel like we have it exactly the way we want it, but it's only week 5. All right, and so we're not trying to be perfect in week 5. We're trying to be perfect, be our best when our best is needed in the playoffs. Week 15, those the weeks leading up to that. But our offensive line guys are really giving movement, and Shannon had a big night too. He had 80 or 90 yards on just a few carries. His yards per carry was really high last week, and Jake had some nice runs too. His yards per carry was 6 or 8 yards a carry. And then Landon was able to hit some home runs. I think, once our offensive line was able to open up some creases, and when Landon gets in the open field, I think people will begin to see that's special. He can really run, and he's got to the point now where he hits the hole full speed and doesn't set his feet down. When he can do that, you see the results. And so he'd be the first to tell you it's the offensive line, it's the receivers in our spread attack. It's Jake, make sure that we're getting in the right checks. Obviously, Jake's got a lot of control of what we do at the line of scrimmage up, on Fridays, and whether we're staying with the original thought process or whether he's getting us out of it and getting us in something else, and or whether he's checking some type of pass. And so all those pieces have to be working together. Obviously, we're not perfect yet, but we've really progressed over the past 5 weeks.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights from last week's game as we break things down. You talked about Jake, and there was a couple times that I saw him last week that he just pulled it down and took off running and made something out of nothing. And it was we kind of saw that 2 weeks ago of him getting into something, of just trying to, when a play breaks down, go and find some yardage, and that really makes another weapon that the defense has to account for.
Yeah, so when Jake can, make plays with his feet that aren't necessarily called, like you see a play right here, Landon just doesn't set his feet down. He makes one cut and he's explosive. But, when Jake can extend plays with his feet and he's so accurate, that's probably his biggest strength, or one of his biggest strengths is how accurate he is with the ball, and also, his ability to understand the game cognitively. But, he's making some plays with his feet to really extend plays and help us, get out of some inopportune situations. Really helps. And, I think a couple times last week he scrambled for first downs, and that's what it takes. Everybody's sharing the ball. As you see here, landing on an outside zone stretch play here, just really being explosive, getting out. We're kind of pinned in our own territory, getting us out around midfield, and everybody kind of working together. Here's an inside run play here, just hitting a hole full speed, going downhill, and he's really worked in all aspects of his game. He was always a good straight down, straight line runner, but his ability to make cuts and with and without the ball and catch the ball in space, and he's blocking much better, and you really got to have a lot of leverage to keep him contained. Once he gets going full speed, he's quite the load.
The big thing I thought last week too on the passing attack, again, Jake has just spread the ball all over the field.
Yeah.
He threw a nice ball to Bryson for a touchdown. He hit Eli on a nice little bubble screen, and he made a nice cut and got in the end zone. But he takes the check downs, the underneath routes when they're there. He just really picks his punches when he needs to hit them the right spots.
Yeah, we took a couple shots last week with some deep balls, that maybe hadn't been our strength in the past, and maybe still not connecting on them just yet. Feel like we will in time. He knows, where the ball needs to be delivered, and most importantly, I think he's got this. I don't know how you explain it, but these quarterbacks get this internal clock, and I think he really knows when the ball needs to come out and where it needs to come out to. Here you see just hitting Eli in space, and then just letting playmakers make plays. And Eli had a touchdown last week. Ison ran a touchdown last week. Rousey caught a touchdown last week. Of course, Steltner had a big night on the ground, and maybe next game will be somebody else. There you see Goodall getting another pick.
4 picks in 4 games.
I think it's fourth and 4 games in a row back there. And actually, Bryson had a pick too back there. And their quarterback was he threw the ball well and makes into some plays with his feet too, and give us some trouble, and really good looks for us, particularly as we headed to Hazard, next week.
Yeah, this is a big thing. I thought that this was a good game for you guys to see going into the Hazard game, because the Shoptall kid at Hazard, he's got an electric arm. Puts you a lot of mind of the Miles kid from NCC. Not maybe quite as big, but he can move with his feet, but his first option is definitely his arm.
Yeah, the kid from Hazard is outstanding. The kid from the NCC, I thought the other night played really well. We were able to get some licks on him, and I think he's using the run game maybe a little bit more than Shoptall, at least up till now. It's no secret in Class A, you start losing your quarterback, the game changes. So all of us are trying to keep our quarterbacks upright, and so that changes when you get closer to elimination football. But yeah, Shoptall's been really good with his arm. He's really accurate. He would probably be classified. I know you're a baseball guy. He's a plus arm for sure.
Absolutely.
He's an above average high school quarterback as far as arm strength goes, and extremely intelligent. I think he comes from a lineage of, I think he had an older brother who was an outstanding athlete, and his dad's some type of, I think maybe heart surgeon or some type of doctor or something like this. So again, I'm sure, he's a lot like our guy, very cerebral. I'm sure Coach really can expand the playbook and give him multiple options, and it shows. He played some last year against us in some certain packages they did, but he was not their every down quarterback like he is now.
Yeah.
And so really present us some challenges next week as we go down there. Not only the challenges of going down there in their environment, it's also their homecoming. And then, once you step inside the white lines, dealing with his ability.
The big thing with last week too, the defense, you took a couple of punches early, 14-14, but you guys didn't flinch. And I thought that was really a big, because there was maybe some people that thought this was going to be a pushover game, and NCC had certainly the athletes to do it. The Bivens kid, the running back, he was electric in himself. But that's the kind of adversity that you like to see with your team. When you take a punch, you stand up and you go right back at it. Yeah,
we answer the bell, so to speak, if you will. Last week, probably the thing that's probably the most troublesome or most aggravating or concerning is, we give up the 3 scores were 3 home runs, long, explosive plays. First kid, Bevins, has a nice long run, 50-plus yards. Then they hit a pass over on the far sideline there. We kind of come up and don't execute. And then, of course, they hit one going towards the softball field, another long pass there in the third quarter when we were really getting ready to kind of exert our will maybe a little bit earlier. And so, allowing explosive is one thing that we have focused on, that we really got to get better at. I don't know that there's any drive the other night that they took the ball and conducted a 12 or 14 play drive. That's not really how they're built. And then you got to make teams do that. And I don't know that any high school team that will play, that's their strength. Even thinking about when we were down at Pikeville there at the end, it wasn't no 8-play drive. It was none of their drives were. It was 4 or 5 plays, and boom, they're in the end zone. Explosive type movements, explosive type plays, whether it's run, pass, or some combination of both. And so those are the things that we continue to work on, things we got to get better at as we move forward, and things that we know we have to minimize, if we intend to play, at Kroger Field.
Quick question here. Emily Lockwood wants to know what you're thinking on Hazard's defense this year. You've obviously had some time to start looking at game film, and again, that's a big thing with bye week. But when you look at Hazard defensively, what do you see so early on?
Yeah. So first of all, about our bye week, we've done some things this week to try to focus on us. Body care, one big thing this week. A couple of really good days of weight training and some cardiovascular work. These guys will tell you, running, if you will. preliminary game, game prep, preliminary, some preliminary ideas of things that we might like, we might not like. That's the advantage of a bye week. You can try some things in practice, and then we'll get together and finalize a game plan. And some things we'll check mark and move forward, and some things we'll take a big red pen and X, and that's the advantage. Defensively about Hazard, the first thing that pops out to you is I think they're extremely aggressive. You talk about their offensive weapons, 14 and 6 are also on defense, so that's a big piece of theirs. But the other thing that sticks out is number one, inside middle linebacker for them. I think he's a leading tackler in Class A. Really plays sideline to sideline. Some of the things they do schematically makes it hard to get a hat on him. He's kind of tucked in there and protected by some guys up front. And he's a returning starter. He's been a player there for them for several, for the last couple of years. Of course, we played them last couple of years in the playoffs too. And so that's probably the biggest thing that sticks out to me is how aggressive they are. And number one, his ability to run sideline to sideline, play downhill, make a lot of tackles. Obviously, there's some things there that we hope we can take advantage of. We got to try to be able to, I talk about this, I think, in the show about pass coverage. The best pass coverage is a pass rush. Well, one thing about next Friday, the best defense for Shoptaw and his arm and their offense is our offense on the field, keeping them on the sideline. So hopefully we can find some things to do to be able to keep the game, the clock rolling in our favor and get some first downs and really try to grind out those long possessions. The key there is when you get them, you got to be able to convert. You can't leave any points on the board, and you can't certainly turn the ball over. And so all those things go into playing winning football. That'll be a real challenge for us in week 6 on the road.
You talk about one, Raceland, he's a senior, 69 tackles on the season, 3.5 tackles for loss. The two playmakers on offense through the passing game, 6 and 14, they also have the 3 interceptions on the team. Yeah. 6 is the second leading tackler on their team, and he's got 4 sacks out of the safety position. So, again, the same playmakers we talk about on offense are going to be on the defense. Now, that question of that is, though, with the depth that you guys feel like that you've got this year, how much does that play into your effect of being able to just continue to lean on those same guys that stand out there for 48 minutes?
Yeah, obviously that's how we're built. It's no secret that's our game plan. Not necessarily this week or last week or any other week, every week. That's just kind of how our program is built on. The one thing about that is you got to avoid early knockouts. You can't get caught up in the hoopla or the momentum of early in the game and get yourself knocked out where you never get a chance to get your depth really working for you. And that'll be a big piece of it next week, being able to contain our emotions and playing in an emotional environment as they celebrate their homecoming 2025. Can we step between the white lines and block all that out? That will be a big key for us next Friday.
Real quick before we step out for a break, team games, what's the most important thing that you've learned since being a football coach?
Who's that?
Team games.
Oh, team games.
Yeah, no, they don't put their name on here. They hide behind an egg. So
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, what was it again now?
What's the most important thing you've learned since being a football coach?
The most important thing. So first of all, it's my 19th season here at Raceland, assistant coach for 7. So I guess that makes my 12th as head coach. I think as a head coach, the one thing is the losses stick with you more than the wins. But the biggest thing, is trying to develop young men as they move forward. But as far as learning goes, I think is just being able to deal with adversity and being able to deal with things, failure and how to not only personally deal with that, but more so how important it is as a head coach or assistant coaches, how effective that is among the locker room and the facility. That's probably one thing that feel like I've grown in the most because, kids are very, very impressionable. They can read a book, they know, and if you're carrying those burdens with you, that carries over to them. And if you're relaxed or comfortable in who you are and what you believe in and that you're really giving them their best, well, they sense that as well. So I think being able to put those negative moments behind us and also the positive moments, hey, let's move forward. Let's be present in the moment and just really be present together and enjoy each other because these things happen so quick. I remember like yesterday when it was 19 years ago, it was 2007, and in 2006, ironically, we had got beat by Newport Central Catholic in the playoffs, round 3. That was a season prior to me coming back home, and then 2007 seems like it was just yesterday. I can tell you everything that happened in 2007, all the way down to the playoff game, getting beat at LCA on the last kick of the game by a kicker who went on to kick at UK, and those things just happen quick, and so we want to make sure that kids are in the moment. And those kids that come through our program, first of all, they leave it better than they found it. But also that they leave better than what they entered. When they leave the doors, they're better young men prepared for what's outside these doors than what they were when they walked in. And If we do that, we feel like the byproducts are the successes that everybody sees.
All right, let's step out for a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by our three seniors. We've got Chris Spradlin, Ian Vance, and Alex Harr. We'll talk some football with those guys, and then a little bit later on the show, we're going to take a live tour of this brand new facility here, now a year old. Also take a look at the weight room that we've got here on campus as well. That's as we can continue on here on Inside Raceland Football on Kool TV.
Good morning, Isabella.
Hi, David.
Back for your morning routine?
Clark's Refresh Rewards program is something you'll flip for.
Hey, Isabella. Hi, Annabelle.
Donut?
Don't forget the sprinkles. Cream and sugar.
Download our app today and enjoy all of the rewards. No flipping required.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family. Because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall fishing season is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Luce, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter the species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style, with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Soom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
If you can picture yourself in a better job and a better life, there are thousands of openings in Kentucky right now. And with the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship, you can prepare for many of them tuition-free. Good at Ashland Community and Technical College. This scholarship offers 100% free tuition for classes that can prepare you for a great job in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, and more in as little as 13 weeks. Get started today at workreadykentucky.com.
Since 1992, DSI has been serving their customers with quality products and affordable prices for 33 years. DSI offers a wide variety of gear for your favorite team and also offers wholesale and retail screen printing, embroidery, vinyl, and direct-to-film applications. DSI also welcomes your custom design for your team, business, or anything you may need. Have a vision? Let DSI's custom design team make that vision a reality. For over 30 years, DSI has been the trusted name for quality products and an affordable price. Check them out at 511 Greenup Avenue in Raceland or online at supertees.com.
At Members Choice Credit Union, we believe that strong communities begin with strong partnerships, and that starts with trust. Since 1932, we've proudly served the families and businesses of this region because your goals matter, your family matters, and your future should be built on a foundation you can count on and trust. Members Choice Credit Union, your money, your future, your choice.
Primary Plus is celebrating 40 years of its mission of quality, advanced, affordable health care. With over 11 primary care locations throughout the region, Primary Plus believes in our communities and our patients. The Primary Plus name means primary care plus so much more, offering extended services such as women's health, pediatrics, dental, counseling, diabetes management, infusion services, and on-site pharmacy that offers free delivery. Primary Plus believes in connecting health care for you and your family and is always welcoming new patients. Learn more at primaryplus.net.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Borders Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland. When you are hungry and on the go, stop by the Rams Dairy Bar for your next meal. Rams Dairy Bar offers mouth-watering cheeseburgers and hot dogs made any way you like them, with plenty of sides to choose from. Don't forget to grab an ice cream cone to go or a hand-dipped milkshake with a variety of flavors. Rams Dairy Bar also offers a full selection of flavored coffees to get your day moving in the right direction. The next time you're hungry and don't know where to go, swing by the Rams Dairy Bar, proud supporters of Raceland Athletics for over 25 years. And we're back here on Inside Raceland Football. Big thanks to all of our great sponsors that have been with us throughout the entirety of the program. Hey, real quick, before we get going, I got to throw this to Coach. I hope he's listening over there. Emily Lockwood says it's time to raise some funds and get some charter buses for these long trips we're taking. So, Coach put that on the schedule of stuff we need to start raising money for. He said Yellow Dog will travel anywhere. So, but either way, it's time for our senior segment here. Let's let them introduce themselves, and then we'll start breaking down. I'll start with you, Chris.
I'm Chris Spradlin, number 56.
I'm Ian Vance, number 60.
I'm Alex Harr, number 64.
Chris, for you guys, I'll start with you guys. I'll ask you the same question. 3 years, all 3 years you guys are going to state. You're trying to get to that fourth year, and Coach always talked about you don't want to be that guy that lays the rope down. How much motivation has that been for you guys coming into this season?
Just building up through season after season. You know, I was one of those guys that walked in, and it was the first time that we'd gone in forever. And just watching the outcome we've seen the past couple years over and over again, it's just so motivational to want to be that guy and be the first. Just
Sorry.
Hard may have to bail him out here.
I'm just after our 3 losses in the 3 years I've been here, I've always wanted to win this. It's been my biggest dream since I started high school and started playing football again, and I've just never been more motivated since I'm a starter now, and I can really feel the impact of the game and just feel part of it.
Yeah. Alex?
The past 2 times I've been with this team, we've made it to the state championship. I'm just ready for a win. So it's because my senior year, might as well go up.
Do you guys remember the kick on this end zone back here? Yeah. I mean, obviously you guys were, probably 7th, 8th grade? I think it would be somewhere there. Yeah. Y'all remember that?
I wasn't here.
You wasn't here then? Okay. Sprad, what do you remember about that kick?
Well, being 7th, 8th grade, we're sitting back there behind the bleachers, you know, playing middle school football, watching the big guys play. Watching them play in general was amazing. And then just watching everyone go crazy as the ball flies through, and just the adrenaline rush of watching everybody jumping up and down and all the big kids are going crazy, and wanting to feel that once I got here is just phenomenal.
Ian, you were here too?
I didn't live here at the time, but I was actually at this game.
Okay.
And I just remember I was so young then, I didn't really understand the game like how I do now. But I did when we hit that kick, just the amount of excitement and the feeling of being in the crowd at that moment was just insane to me, and I want us to bring that again.
Last week, JFL night, and for you guys being around the little guys, and they look up to you like you guys are gods. What's that like when you look down and you see the future of the program standing right there beside of you?
It's inspiring in its own way, you know, just wanting to be a leader and show some value to what we have as a community, because be real, we're a football community around here, so just watching little guys grow up and seeing what they're going to have and seeing what they can be, it just makes you want to play better that night and just show what you have so they can look up to that and remember you.
Ian, for you?
It's kind of a surreal feeling because it just feels like I remember so much about JFL and coming out on JFL night and seeing those big high schoolers and how tall they were, like giants to me, and that I'm that now to another little kid it's a crazy feeling.
Alex?
I agree with Ian. It's just weird to be the senior out there and you're just the, oldest guy. All those little kids looking at you like you're a giant.
I mean, we look behind us here. We saw the little guys playing earlier. I mean, did it bring back memories of you guys? When you were out there being in the little guy tackle programs and stuff.
It did.
What's your favorite thing about football?
Hitting people.
Yeah.
I like, just being with all my friends while I'm doing it and just having fun and playing the game I love with my closest friends.
I agree with Ian. It's the family aspect more than anything. So.
Sprad, you're up front. I mean, you're nose tackle. You're lined up on something, so you guaranteed you're at least going to hit somebody every play. For you being on that nose tackle position, though, again in the 3-4, you know a lot of nights you're going to have double teams coming at you. Does that motivate you especially because of the way the guys behind you play?
Yeah, I mean, I know my job. I'm not going to be the biggest playmaker out there. I shouldn't be the biggest playmaker out there. But if I can fill my gaps and other people make plays, that motivates me more to fill my gaps and do what I need to do. Even if I'm getting double teamed all night, I'll drop down there, get dirty, if it means those guys make the play and we win the game.
And you see that year after year with Raceland's defense. It's those three guys up front. They do the job, and it's the linebackers that lead the way. And, again, that's the way a 3-4 is built.
Yeah.
Ian, for you, this offensive line this year, 8 guys that it's gone deep at some times to where there's people that can move in all positions. You guys had a few injuries that's been people beaten up, and you've brought it back. How big has it been to be able to get the rotations that you guys have had to be able to play like you have so far?
I think our depth is probably our biggest strength on the O-line. Just the ability to bring someone in immediately as soon as one guy makes a mistake, and not be a huge loss if someone gets injured or something. That is like really important for this team, and because we've never had that kind of depth before, and to be able to do that is a great strength of ours.
Alex, when you look at the offensive line, it's a selfless position. Nobody really cares unless you screw up.
Yeah.
How do you deal with all of that?
You just go out there and do your job and make sure the running back can go score. So, I mean, it's not about the camera being on you. It's about doing the job and making sure we get the
Now, what's your favorite part of being on offensive line?
Double teaming with one of your closest friends and making sure you open up a hole for Stiltner to get his 5 touchdowns like he did against NCC.
All right, so my question is now, what's your favorite thing? Would you rather feel the thump and the ugh of the guy coming out when you pancake somebody, or opening up that big hole that springs for a touchdown?
The pancake.
Yeah.
Probably better than anything.
Ian, for you, which one?
I like opening up the hole because, like, as I'm blocking the guy, if I see the running back running past me and see all this open field, I know he's going to go score. If it's someone like Stilt or Shannon, it's a great feeling.
Sprad, for you, which one's better, getting the quarterback or putting one of those offensive linemen on their backside?
Ooh. At nose, getting the quarterback. But at DN, if you can throw that tackle, throw that tackle.
Yeah. What's the going into this season? What was the one thing that you personally, each one of you, and I'll start with Chris, what was the thing that you said this is your personal goal that you want to have happen this year that you can give back to the team?
I want to be a bigger playmaker. I didn't feel like last year I made as many plays as I should have, even at being nose guard and being in the dirt. I just wanted to crawl more for it and just put a better foot forward than I did last year.
Ian?
Well, coming into this year, I'd never started before, and that was probably my biggest goal because I had almost a season-ending injury last year, and it kind of ruined, I don't want to say ruined the season for me, but kind of took me out of it. But coming back in the summer practices and getting the pads on and working up the depth chart, it was a great feeling, and I wanted to just be as much a part of the team as I could be.
Alex?
Doing a job to make sure we get that win between punt team, offensive line, whatever I can do to make sure we get that win point.
All right, so let's talk about some stuff away from football. First, I want you. Who's meaner, you or your sister?
Ooh,
this is a tough one. You got a home and deal with her, so I just have to deal with her in 7th period. So.
Me in sports, but if you ever meet her in person.
We're obviously talking about your sister, Isabel. She's a big supporter, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you see little sis over there supporting the program like she does, how much does that motivate you?
Motivates me so much. I'll look over there, and she's sitting over there cheering, and then all of a sudden she'll turn around, she'll be like, get hype, do what you do all your stuff. And it motivates me. I get embarrassed.
Yeah.
But deep down I'm like, all right, I'll show you something. I'll do something.
Ian, for you, what's something you like to do away from football?
I like just hanging out with my friends. We watch college football and NFL games on the weekends. Play poker, play board games. In the summer we played a lot of pickleball. That was our main thing. But we like to just do whatever and hang out.
So, college football team, who's your go-to?
Ohio State.
Oh my gosh! All right, that's going to do it for the show tonight, guys. So it's broken now. No, just kidding. Alex, for you, what do you like to do away from the game?
I like to go play golf with my dad. Just alone time, out there. I also like to hang out with my friends watching college football on the weekends.
Who's your go-to?
UK.
Oh, God. Yeah, we're definitely done now, for sure.
No, that's the
Who's your go-to?
Jeez, LP. Where do you like to play golf? Where's your favorite place to go?
I like Riverbend because that's home field, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
But I like to go out to Eagle Trace and stuff like that.
Okay. Where's the nicest place you've ever played?
Probably Greenbrier.
Okay, yeah, it's really nice.
I
Yeah.
played. So.
You guys baseball fans?
No.
No? Yeah, Harr is over here. You're a Reds guy,
Yeah.
right? Pirates up 1-0. Sorry, guys. Listen, if Becky Clear is watching at home, I hope that she doesn't. I told her I was not going to wave the Buccos flag, but I tried to warn her about tonight that it was not going to be a good night for the Reds. But either way, all right. Let's talk about bye week. Coach talked about this week is the get right week, and it comes at a great part of the season, halfway point. 5 games in, 5 games to go. What do you look at this week personally that you have to do to get your body right for those big games coming up? Hazard on the road, then we've got district play coming up, and then 2 strong games to finish out the regular season.
Going into it, more of mental reps than more of physical reps. Just letting our bodies heal off all of the pain and stuff like that, and all the injuries we had. Hoping to have a few of our guys come back this next week. But going in more mentally and trying to think through and fix our mistakes, and having guys rush on the outside lanes and keep them to their lanes, stuff like that. Having O-line block better, running backs, run a little bit faster. But just more mental reps and physical reps, let our bodies heal up. That's really it.
Ian?
Kind of like what Sprad said. Like, it's a good time to let our bodies heal and take some physical time off, but also increase your mind game. Get for the O-line, getting our schemes down, working the hazard defensive front, figuring out how to block that, and taking some time to get in some conditioning. We ran some gassers the other day, and
nobody likes gassers.
No.
They weren't that bad.
Coach Simmons still over there? Don't tell him.
Yeah, he's still
we
over
love
there.
it, Coach.
Yeah. Alex?
Lifting weights to make sure we're stronger for next week. Also, stretching and running will help us out a lot, so we get ready for next week.
You look at what Hazard presents. It's a pass-first offense. It's no secret what they want to do. Looking at what you saw for the Newport Central Catholic, they had a very good quarterback with an A-plus arm that could get it down the field, and he can move it around. How much do you feel like that's going to help you prepare for what you're going to see at Hazard in a couple weeks?
These past few weeks in general, we've had a lot of good on their feet running quarterbacks, and I feel like this guy likes to sit in the pocket a little bit more, throw it out a little bit more, so hopefully we can get a better pass rush scheme going. Like Coach Salmons said, best pass coverage is pass rush.
Yeah.
So hopefully keep him to our lanes and fill in where I can, and just hopefully D-line's on it tonight.
Offensive line, you guys have got a big challenge with that middle linebacker. He likes to get downhill, and he's aggressive. He's got almost 30 more tackles than anybody else on the team. When you have a guy like that, is that a guy that every time you come to the line, you see this a lot in the NFL, 35 is the mic, 1's the mic. You got to identify where this guy is every place he goes.
Yeah, we definitely have to figure out where this guy is before the play, but I think we also just need to stick to what we understand and stick to what we know with our offensive front and our schemes, and block where we're supposed to, and just keep an eye out for him.
Alex, for one thing with the offensive line, it's do your job for 5 seconds. That's usually what you've got to do. Do your job and get it done. Is that the most important thing you got to focus on?
Yeah, you just need to do your job, and the team will do the rest. Just focus on what you need to do to make sure that job is done.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of the off week. It's been great having you guys on the show, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks. All right, we're going to step out for a break. We come back. We are going to take a tour of this beautiful facility here as we'll show off the field house. Also take a look at the brand new weight room that's been installed as well. That's as we continue here on Inside Raceland Football on Kool TV.
Good morning, Isabella.
Hi, David.
Back for your morning routine?
Clark's Refresh Rewards program is something you'll flip for.
Hey, Isabella. Hi, Annabelle.
Donut?
Don't forget the sprinkles. Cream and sugar.
Download our app today and enjoy all of the rewards. No flipping required.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family. Because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall fishing season is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Luce, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter the species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style, with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Soon, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
If you can picture yourself in a better job and a better life, there are thousands of openings in Kentucky right now. And with the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship, you can prepare for many of them tuition-free. Good at Ashland Community and Technical College. This scholarship offers 100% free tuition for classes that can prepare you for a great job in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, and more in as little as 13 weeks. Get started today at workreadykentucky.com.
Since 1992, DSI has been serving their customers with quality products and affordable prices for 33 years. DSI offers a wide variety of gear for your favorite team and also offers wholesale and retail screen printing, embroidery, vinyl, and direct-to-film applications. DSI also welcomes your custom design for your team, business, or anything you may need. Have a vision? Let DSI's custom design team make that vision a reality. For over 30 years, DSI has been the trusted name for quality products and an affordable price. Check them out at 511 Greenup Avenue in Raceland or online at supertees.com.
At Members Choice Credit Union, we believe that strong communities begin with strong partnerships, and that starts with trust. Since 1932, we've proudly served the families and businesses of this region because your goals matter, your family matters, and your future should be built on a foundation you can count on and trust. Members Choice Credit Union, your money, your future, your choice.
Primary Plus is celebrating 40 years of its mission of quality, advanced, affordable health care. With over 11 primary care locations throughout the region, Primary Plus believes in our communities and our patients. The Primary Plus name means primary care plus so much more, offering extended services such as women's health, pediatrics, dental, counseling, diabetes management, infusion services, and on-site pharmacy that offers free delivery. Primary Plus believes in connecting health care for you and your family and is always welcoming new patients. Learn more at primaryplus.net.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Borders Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland. When you are hungry and on the go, stop by the Rams Dairy Bar for your next meal. Rams Dairy Bar offers mouth-watering cheeseburgers and hot dogs made any way you like them, with plenty of sides to choose from. Don't forget to grab an ice cream cone to go or a hand-dipped milkshake with a variety of flavors. Rams Dairy Bar also offers a full selection of flavored coffees to get your day moving in the right direction. The next time you're hungry and don't know where to go, swing by the Rams Dairy Bar, proud supporters of Raceland Athletics for over 25 years. There's nothing worse than seeing that commercial from the Rams Dairy Bar when you're saying you're starving it. But, definitely dinner time. Absolutely. It's late dinner time for us. It's always late dinner time after we get done with the show here. But, Coach, it's this week, bye week, so we've got an opportunity that we can kind of spread things around and look at some facilities. And that's one of the things we're going to do. We'll show off the facilities tonight and an opportunity to do that. So let's start first with the weight room.
Break.
Why?
Audio's being weird.
Okay. Okay, hang on. We're having some technical issues, so we'll pause for just a break. We'll be right back and we'll pick it up from there.
Good morning, Isabella.
Sounds like it's coming through here.
Back for your morning routine?
Clark's Refresh Rewards program.
No, phone doesn't matter on here.
Live for.
Hey, Isabella. Hi, Annabelle.
Donut?
Don't forget the sprinkles.
Check.
Cream and sugar.
Download our app today and enjoy all of the rewards. No flipping required.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family. Because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall fishing season is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Luce, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter the species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style, with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Soom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
If you can picture yourself in a better job and a better life, there are thousands of openings in Kentucky right now. And with the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship, you can prepare for many of them tuition-free. Good at Ashland Community and Technical College. This scholarship offers 100% free tuition for classes that can prepare you for a great job in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, and more in as little as 13 weeks. Get started today at workreadykentucky.com.
Since 1992, DSI has been serving their customers with quality products and affordable prices for 33 years. DSI offers a wide variety of gear for your favorite team and also offers wholesale and retail screen printing, embroidery, vinyl, and direct-to-film applications. DSI also welcomes your custom design for your team, business, or anything you may need. Have a vision? Let DSI's custom design team make that vision a reality. For over 30 years, DSI has been the trusted name for quality products and an affordable price. Check them out at 511 Greenup Avenue in Raceland or online at supertees.com. Back here on Raceland Football, have we got audio?
Yeah, but I got that part.
Okay. So we go from very low audio to very high audio. Now we've got, listen, Hankins audio, okay? That's what we always get. I've got 2 cosmonauts behind the controls over here. But, hey, our crew, Felicia and Jacob behind the scenes. All right, facilities coach, that's something we really wanted to focus on this week and bye week, an opportunity to kind of take a breath. And one of the things that you talk about your program so much is the facilities that you guys have to offer here. We've talked about the weight room. Let's take a look at it as we'll talk about it. But, I mean, your weight room facility, top notch. I mean, it's class all the way across the board.
Yeah, the facilities here, since we've been here, the past 2 decades, and really maybe the last decade, our facility's just exponentially grown. And, the weight room was the first piece. We came back from the finals in 23, I believe, and maybe in 22, time runs together. Entire new weight room, old Rams remember that as the old shop room, the old shop class, and it's definitely blue collar. You can go down there and you can probably smell some things you normally don't smell, definitely not in this facility. There's some things that, you see some paint cracking off the wall and, some old cinder block walls. If you touch them in the winter, you may get an icicle on your hand. And, just a special place in there for our guys that can really, call it their own. And it's not just for football. A lot of our sports programs use it, but, during football season, obviously we're the primary user. And so we go down those stairs down there and you kind of make yourself at home. We got a couple different rooms, I'm sure, as we come through here and you'll see. And we have a little storage room down there and a restroom. That's about it. And the only way out is to go back up the stairs and out the door. There's no outside entrance down there. And our guys have really bought in, and I think the weight room piece for us has been a really big piece as we've grown, but also that's helped us be consistent. We talk about our numbers and our depth. That's really helped us get to where we're at. And as you showcase this this first-class facility here. Here's an indoor. A look at our, I don't know if you'd call it an indoor football facility. It's just an indoor facility for all of our athletes. Nice turf area. We had rain today, but no lightning. But a couple weeks ago we had lightning. We go in there and we do plenty of group work, and then the lightning lets up, and you go right back out the front door. You're right back on the field. That's the beautiful thing about this place. It's an old gymnasium for all the old Rams out there, and you walk out the front door of the gymnasium. You're some 20 yards, 20, 30 yards from the turf.
Yeah.
Up on the stage there, a lot of old Rams remember that as a high school basketball locker room or the old high school stage. I'm sure there's people watching who maybe got their diploma on that stage. It's a Nautilus room now that's used for some rehabilitation. Some of our young athletes use it. A lot of our female sports teams uses that. There are some free weights up there, but it's very heavy, centered on Nautilus machines and things like that, and as a total body type of deal with some upper pushes and pulls and some lower body exercises, as well as a small dumbbell rack. So just a real first class facility. This town's been really supportive of us, and when I say us, I mean our school system, and it really shows. I think that's one thing our school's done a good job of is we take our money and we invest it back in kids, and these things like this show that.
Yeah, the facility's top notch. From like you said, you get the stuff here that the younger kids can start with, and it transitions right into your weight program. That transitions into high school, and it obviously shows with the success we've had with the programs. All right, so we're about ready to make our trip through the building. So let's start making our way, Coach, while this plays out, and we'll be able to move over here. So let's go, Jacob. Now let's see if the producer remembers that they have to take the camera and change it. So, all right. So let's walk into this first room here, Coach. What a way to start off in the equipment room. You've got more. Coach Lewis, this is his heaven right here.
Yeah, a little messy here, being that we're in the midpoint of the season here, regular season that is. So this building's a 50 by 140, 7,000 square feet. Essentially, lack of better words for construction people, this is a pole barn. It's got a slanted roof on it. Water runs off the back. But that's what this is. It's maybe a little souped up on the inside. Really nice storage room here. You can see, Coach Lewis kind of has 4 or 5 shelves going around through here. Have our helmets on the back, all of our extra cloth and things over here on the left, over here on the right. All of our uniform combinations, all of our uniform sets. You kind of have his workstation here in the middle. You can see from today our football's being dried out. Just a really, really good space. And I think what's maybe most valuable to me, this is probably the second biggest improvement over our prior field house. Our prior field house was an old restroom from the original stadium setup. So when I say it was 10% of this size, that may be kind.
Yeah, very much so.
And so this size has really been advantageous to us, and a really big piece as we try to stay organized with the program.
And you see Coach Lewis's locker is in here, away from all the. This is his home. This is where Coach lives.
Yeah, very appropriate. So when we built the field house, one of the walls is not exactly plumb, and so the measurements for the lockers didn't come out, and one locker didn't fit. So let's put the extra locker in the equipment room, and when we did, of course, he took dibs on it, and so he takes a lot of pride in it. But yeah, this is where he lives. This is his home away from home. And so very, very, very appropriate for this location.
No, so was there rock, paper, scissors between him and Coach Hoofy for that locker?
No, this was dedicated.
This was definitely Coach Lewis.
Well, they call dibs on it.
Yeah, dibs on this one, for sure.
Dibs on it, yeah.
All right, let's head down to the film room. So, again, the players, this is a place where you guys have an opportunity to sit down, break down film, and everybody has a place to sit in the room, and you're not crammed over old school desk and an old room and a TV. This is a top-notch facility.
Well, it really is. Our old film room was actually over in the old building, up on top of where the weight room was. So this is a first class room here. We have about 38 chairback seats here. Kind of funny story. Just got those out of a movie theater. To be honest, I cleaned them up, I shined them up a little bit, found a way to make them work as we did some stadium row seating. And the kids can really sit in there. We don't necessarily have the whole team in here at any one time. Just from the standpoint of, we kind of try to do that in groups. So whether it be, upper or lower class, whether it be linemen or skill guys. Have a couple whiteboards in here behind you. You see, we have a goal board here that one of the things that we really track in our program. And then, we have 100-inch monitor. So this is, light touch panels. I'm sure give Joseph Smith a shameless plug here.
Absolutely.
But these are nothing but a giant screen TV with a CPU unit. So I can get up here and touch and screen and break down film and show film and get us everywhere we need to be. The touch of a mouse, touch it with your hand. Again, anywhere you need to be, you can kind of get there. And so it's really really valuable. And we have 5 of these throughout our facility. And so it's a big piece. And so the kids can break up in different rooms and different groups and watch film at any given time. And this right here is the biggest one, of course, in the facility. And the beautiful thing about this room too is, you can do light dimming. You can dim your lights. I don't want to do it to the cameraman. You can turn the lights out.
Yeah.
And so just really conducive to learning.
Let's talk about the board here. This is something we talk about every week. It's the big board, and it's got those 8 things that you have on there that you say that you have to be successful to win those. And when you look at your wins, losses, the only one that you were 50% or less was the one lost to Pikeville.
Yeah, and so this is something going back to my college days. I picked up on a couple of coaches over the years. We've kind of adjusted it to the high school game, being that it's a shorter game than college. But essentially, there's 8 categories that really relate to winning. I think I talked sometimes on a post-game show. Quit watching the scoreboard. This is what wins football games. 5 out of 8 guaranteed. Never been proven wrong. Guaranteed to win the football game. Has never not happened. And there's simple things on here. Takeaway battle. Well, that's one of the most simplest ones. There at the bottom, you got the fourth quarter. Those are simply, easy calculations, right? And then you got things we call the orange zone. Most people call it the red zone. When you get in there, do you score? And do you score touchdowns? When your opponent gets in there, do you stop them? Explosive play battles, anything that run over 10, throws over 15, different point values based on the length and the distance of the play, the game. Sudden change is a big one. That's simply defined as when is the normal flow of the game changed. Like the other night, we fielded a punt, returned it back essentially where they punted was on a plus 40. So the flow of the game was a little bit interrupted. And so turnovers are sudden changes. If you create them, if you stop them, or if you get stopped on 4th down, that's a sudden change for your defense, how they respond to that, those type of things. Obviously, the penalty battle. Those are some areas that we really got to get better at, and at times we've been better, just not consistent. And then the money down battle. For us, we call it money down. Obviously, that's 3rd and 4th down. That's something that you track as well, I know, in your stat program. And for the most part, we've been pretty efficient on 3rd and 4th down on both sides of the ball. Again, different point values associated there based on the distance. If you pick up a 3rd and 2, that's good. If you pick up a 3rd and 22, that's an issue. That's things you got to work through. And at the bottom, we got special teams. So this is a board that we really believe in, been really good to us. It's designed with 15 columns for a reason. The past 3 years, we've been fortunate enough to fill it up, and every time at the end, you can see where you come up short. And so Coach Farley has kind of take ownership of this after Coach Devine left the program a few years ago for personal family reasons. And this is something we really hang our hat on. Like every weekend, we're texting, "Hey, how's the go board work? How many you think we got?" And on the headset during the game, I'll come on. I'll say, "That's a win for the kickoff team," or that's a loss for the kickoff return team, or that's a good job for the punt team. And we'll try to keep track of it during the game. And so our kids kind of buy into it, and they kind of know that it relates to winning. And when they come in here on Sundays, it's the first thing they see.
All right, let's head down to the locker room for the high school. And again, you got 2 different locker rooms. So you've got the middle school locker room, you've got the high school locker room. And tell me a little bit about the difference between the 2.
Yeah, so we kind of come through that door there. This becomes all block, which is mostly where the kids hang out at, and that's for a reason. Not that kids can't destroy block, but they got to work at it a little harder.
They'll work a little harder, right?
So the big difference is, this entire end of the building here is our high school locker room. The middle school locker room has 18-inch lockers. Much like the coach's office, when we walk in here, you'll see these lockers are 24-inch lockers. So a much bigger locker for our kids. And so in here, there's 64 lockers, 24 inches wide. You can see the logo, locker bench, raised seat, storage, shoes, whatever it may be. Multiple hooks, 3 hooks in the locker. have a little trap door here if you want to lock your valuables up. Then the biggest difference is in our middle school locker room does not contain the helmet shoulder pad rack like all these lockers do. This locker room is kind of set up in fingers, if you will. It kind of has just rows of lockers. Old locker rooms, traditional locker rooms, they go all the way around the room. The layout of this room just didn't conducive to that, particularly because of what we have up here on the front of the room. But this has been a big asset to our program. This is something, honestly, that we kind of picked up on and kind of stole from some of being down at UK a couple of times. Kind of, learn from it. Not that they're exactly like UK, I'm not suggesting that, but just the idea. And then, of course, you have a number, you have a budget, and you got to make it work.
You look at the sign up here. Some are born here, some are drawn here, but we call this place home. And that's the word that when you look at Raceland, that's what it all comes back. This is home.
Yeah, and so there's not a ton of room in here for signage, and this is one thing that we really introduced when we first got this building open. One thing about Raceland that's unique is 5 square miles of land space for our district. There's not a lot of people that can live in 5 square miles. It's not New York City, and particularly in a poverty-stricken economic area. About half of our district are outside of those 5 miles, and so that's where it comes in at. Half of our district are, driving in here every day, or getting dropped off here every day, or their grandparents are bringing them every day, or they're going to someone's house in the district and getting on the bus, and so that's a big part of who we are. There's kids you talk to, like in the show today, who came all the way up through JFL. Then there's some kids here who just joined us later, and that's just kind of the nature of who we are, but everybody calls it home. That's a really big piece of who we've always been. That's probably one of the strengths of Raceland, I think, is maybe you're not from here, but when you come here, it's like you've always been here. That's kind of how this group of people in our community assimilate. And obviously, since 1926 football, 1928 graduation class, 100 years is quite the run.
All right, let's head down to the coach's locker room or coach's office, if you will.
Yeah,
this is where a lot of stuff goes down, and again on game nights, there's games finished up, but there's still a lot of work to do, and you guys go get some Giovanni's pizzas, and you go in here, you go to work, and first thing you do is start going in and breaking out film.
Yeah, you'll see when you get in here, we got another panel, that we always watch our film on, break down film on, function as a computer. I'm emailing, or we're a big Google Drive school, as you know, or Google Drive. Our football program uses the Google Drive, and we're updating stats, or looking at stats, or looking at district standings, or possible playoff pairings, or whatever. And but this is it. And our coach's office before, we had this couch in it, or a couch like this.
Couch like that, yeah.
It wasn't this one, and maybe a chair, and then a couple lockers in the corner, and we called it good. But you can see here we got 2 whiteboards that we use pretty exclusively. You can see here I have a desk, have a laptop, printer, things that primarily I'm the user of that, but any of our coaches can use that, and they know that. And then we have what they call it in the game of football, or any athletic events, the war table, the war room, with the panel right there behind it. And then we were able to kind of put this little kitchenette thing over here on the right. You can see my stuff on there. I was packing up to go home. But you have a little sink, microwave over there. Some of our guys are big coffee drinkers. Got a K machine over there. And then we have a fridge. And so, a lot of times, a lot of our guys this time of year spend more time here than they spend at home. And so it's a really valuable piece. Have our coaches' lockers right through there that match the middle school locker room. And of course, we have a shower back there for our guys. And so a lot of times people spend more time here in this facility, or on the field, or somewhere, than they spend at home. And so we want to make sure it's nice. Obviously, our scoreboard and our school board and the people in the community, first class. Really, we tried to do this a couple times. We came up short, and we finally got it right. We were trying to maybe save a piece of the old and put new to it, and it just didn't work. And so we went all new like this, and couldn't be more pleased. It's right at a year old now. I think you spoke about that.
Yep.
Last year when we played our first couple games, we didn't have access to this. We wasn't allowed in here, so we had a couple storage pods in the
out of the parking lot.
In the parking lot, that was our equipment room. That was our equipment room, and then from there, we were getting dressed in the weight room, where we just, you just show some video of where guys were taking their stuff home every night. So now, obviously, Sometimes you got to pinch yourself to realize really how fortunate we are. And obviously, we have a lot of responsibility to take care of it. And by and large, our guys do a good job, and our parents and our touchdown club do a good job of trying to keep this place clean and safe for us. Any given day, there's 100 student athletes come through here between our 7th and 8th grade team and our high school team. So a lot of our students, when you talk about a district of 1,000 kids, 1,050 kids, K-12, and you have 100 of them, give or take, playing football, that's a pretty good percentage, right? So 10% of the population, give or take, 20% of the quite a bit different if you're talking just males. And so this was a big investment, and so we want to make sure we're good stewards of it. And obviously, as you drive down the highway, it's a showpiece. And so we're really proud of it.
All right, one room we still got to show. Let's go behind the scenes. Let's go into the lounge over here, because this is where all the business happens.
Oh, the lounge.
This is where everything happens for the show.
Yeah.
But first off, this is kind of a lounge for the players. They can hang out. Two monitors in here that they can watch stuff. They can play video games. Just a place they can relax. And the nice part is, you can roll the door up. You can watch outside. Usually we've got the door up in the evenings and stuff.
Yeah.
Some nice tabletops in here, some more couches, but just a place that the kids can come and hang out.
Yeah, it's called a lounge. I think on the hallway, that's what the doors say. 2 panels again. Kind of have this long sectional extended couch here with some bar stool height seating, and got some pub tables around. Just a kind of conducive area to build some camaraderie, to help build our culture. We do have some team meetings in here, mostly team feeds in here. I don't know if we get the whole team in here, but if we're feeding our JV team, or if we're feeding our varsity team, or if we're feeding our linemen, or whatever. The garage door is obviously a big asset. I know the other night after the game, we honored one of our players, Jake Waller's 18th birthday, and they put the door up, and they had some tables out, and people were just kind of free flowing in and out the door. And just what a great way to build community. And so this was well thought of, well designed. Obviously a big room, high ceilings. Again, I don't want to mess Jacob up, but lights dim and go up all the time. And then kids really come in here and hang. Before the game, you'll see kids coming in here maybe getting their quiet time. Or maybe they're coming in here and catching them a power nap. You'll see kids come in here, coaches meeting with kids one-on-one, need to get away, and maybe whatever they're going through that day or whatever. Obviously our middle school team uses this room too, and we got this room branded up. You got the big R back there on the back wall. Hopefully Jacob got that on there. We got
just make sure you don't get Felicia on there. We don't want to put her on camera.
slowly but surely got getting some branding here on the front. We got some of our plaques from over the past few years, and just a kind of a catch-all room. It's really really been good to us. I know we have some different coolers and stuff back there that's not normally there. Our trailer's been under what they call it, under improvement. Under improvement to make sure it's good to go to Hazard next week. But we'll get that thing loaded back up and get this room put back together. But this room gets a lot of usage every week. Again, kids really find a little safe haven in here.
And as part of it was a great place for us to be able to do the show each week. And I mean, it's very conducive to what we're trying to do. It gives us that nice backdrop there of the field and stuff. And we greatly appreciate everything that we get an opportunity to do with you guys.
Yeah, the thing about our school, and is we're right on 23. There's no hiding. And so you can go right down 23 and see everything we're doing and everything we've done. And so, that's the biggest marketing, right? They always say that what's the 3 rules of marketing is, location, and location. And so we have a prime real estate here, and we want to make sure we always take advantage of it and put our best foot forward as people drive up and down. I wouldn't call this the metropolis, but this is the main roadway in our area.
Yes.
And people see it.
Without a doubt.
That's right.
All right, that's going to do it for us this week. Coach, we'll talk to you next week. Enjoy a little bit of rest time for you and your stuff, but obviously when we get to Sunday, it's business week and it's Hazard, and we'll break it all down next week.
Yeah, we'll be right back at it, and looking forward to going in the second half of the regular season. We don't call it the halfway point of the season yet because we obviously have goals that stretch through November and into December. But very excited. We got one more opportunity before going to district play, and a lot of things on the line that we got to take care of.
All right, we'll talk about it all next week. A big hat tip to Jacob and Felicia behind the scenes today, and Coach Salmons. Also, our 3 seniors, Chris Spradlin, Alex Harr, and Ian Vance. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. We'll upload anything we've got new coming out, and hit that thumbs up if you see something you like. For everyone here, Coach Mike Salmons, I'm James Collier. Thanks for tuning in. This is Inside Raceland Football, right here on Kool TV.
Thanks for watching this episode of Inside Raceland Football on Kool TV. Join us each Wednesday night at 7 for another episode as we break down everything with Raceland Rams football.